Welcome to your feature presentation, the podcast where we bring you the latest and greatest movies in pop culture. Today we have a special Cosmere edition. Brandon Sanderson's collected work is becoming a TV show, movies, and maybe more. And we're going to dive right in. We are so excited. We've got some fun guests. But before the guests, this normie, Andrew McKay. What's going on, man?
Oh, hey, it's great. I'm trying to scrape by with what little voice I have, so I'll be in the background a little bit, but
That's
fun.
okay.
It'll be a good
Always
episode.
lurking. Great. And back with us again.
Never lurking. I don't do that.
Always lurking. Come on. The Cosmere Junkie himself, Gary. What's up, man?
You know, just some of the biggest news dropped for this fandom of all time, so it's really exciting.
Mm-hmm.
It's so crazy. And our first time guest, the incredible Mo, Cosmere Mo herself.
Hi. I'm so excited to be here. I'm so pumped.
Sweet. Well, let's just jump in just with initial reactions. Like, what was the first thought when all of it, like when you guys heard this news?
Well, I don't know that I fully processed it. I was just like, oh, this is huge. Wait, is this AI or is this legit? And then once I saw that Brandon posted it on his stuff, I was like, oh, it's real. Okay, now I got to tell everyone I know.
I read that post so carefully too, because I was like, is he saying like, oh, I wish, or something like that?
Yeah, for me, it was just really excitement. But like we've been burned before. A few years ago, there was a clip of Brandon saying next year we'll have a Mistborn adaptation, like we'll be on set filming, and then that never came about, never happened. So there was a little bit of like, how official is this? But the more I read, the more I researched, I'm like, Apple's not buying the entire Cosmere with how expensive that would be nowadays, without having like concrete plans to move forward, which is just super, super exciting. And I couldn't be more thrilled that it's Apple moving forward.
Apple's definitely best case scenario. Like adaptations make me nervous as is, but Apple, I think, is the best route to go for that.
Yeah, Apple wasn't even on my radar for this, but I think it's perfect. We just watched the Monarch season 2 trailer by Apple, and it looks so good. It's like movie quality, like it's like an HBO. Like the budget's high, but it looks so good. And yeah, the fact that like Brandon Sanderson seems like he has final say, which is, it's like let's trust the author. Yeah. Andrew, what was your first thoughts?
I'll reiterate, Apple TV has produced some of my favorite shows in the last 2 or 3 years. Between Severance, like mystery thriller drama, to Shrinking, Harrison Ford, Jason Segel comedy. It's just been a whirlwind of fun every time I turn on Apple TV. So to see that, and also obviously Ted Lasso, that maybe goes without saying, but to see it was Apple TV was really, really encouraging. And to then read more and find out more about how involved Brandon will be in that whole process, writing, I don't know what the correct term is, screenplay, writing those things, and it kind of has that final say. Put to rest my anxiety that Game of Thrones installed in me, because I also read all those books and watched that show. So I'm feeling good. I'm feeling encouraged.
Yeah, that's awesome. I can't go in there because we're focused on the Cosmere, but I really want to talk about Night of the Seven Kingdoms too. But we'll postpone that. So yeah, Gary and Mo, I'd love to hear, because I'm sure this happens to you guys. I saw a post that was, why am I seeing all this stuff about Brandon Sanderson's show? Who is he? Like, what's your pitch for people who are like, what's being made? What's going on? Like, what are you telling people?
Go, Gary. You start.
I'll jump in. I actually haven't had anybody ask me that, but if someone were to ask me today, what is Brandon Sanderson? I'd say that, in Brandon's own words, he is not going for the Marvel connected universe with his books. He's going for the Star Wars version of his reality. So he's got a bunch of books and series where there's some crossover with different characters, and he's created this universe where there's like an overarching plot with some overarching bad guys, some main characters, but you don't really need to read all of them, you can read each series in its own little pocket and have a great experience. But if you like to get that real epic feel, you can go into that. So it's going to be a great option for Apple with doing movies and television. The fact that they're not just sticking like the MCU did for so long, where it's just movies, they're going to be able to like cross promote with TV shows and movies. I think it's going to just be really, really cool.
Yeah, that's pretty much about what I was gonna say too.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, I hadn't heard
do you
that
ever
thing
get
about Star
people-
Wars. That's great.
Yeah, like it was in an interview around the time Wind and Truth was coming out, and he's like, people say that it's like the Marvel crossover, but he's like, what I'm actually going for is Star Wars, which makes sense when you consider that the Cosmere is going into a sci-fi age, right? Where you're having people go to different planets and all of that stuff. Like it's gonna hopefully feel more like that and less like Avengers moments where it's more just like, okay, these characters are together now and we're gonna tell stories here and these characters are together now.
I like how you pick that out, because I didn't realize that we were going more sci-fi, spaceships, planet hopping kind of stuff until I read Sunlit Man last year. And then this year reading Isles of the Ember Dark. I was like, oh, we're in it now. Like, this is the type of stuff we're doing. And I would almost prefer what he's doing. Slight hints or locations or name dropping, rather than like Kaladin and Kelsier sit down and have breakfast and then they go and fight a bad guy together or whatever.
I would watch that too, though. So,
but I was gonna ask, do you guys ever get? So I consider both of you the large social media Cosmere presence. If someone sends me a Cosmere thing, it's from one of your accounts. Do you get people that wander into your space and say like, what's going on here? What is this?
We do all the time. Gary and I talk about this every once in a while, but I actually had a fan message me like a month ago saying, I saw one of your memes. I was curious as to what the heck you were talking about. And I picked up Way of Kings. I've now read the entire Stormlight series. And I was like, my job here is done,
Wow.
folks. I can go home.
Yeah, and I've said it many times. I've historically have had really bad luck getting people in my personal life to read the books and to fall in love as I do. I am having my first big success, and one of my best friends is currently in the reading process. He's reading Oathbringer. He's read like Warbreaker, Elantris, and the first Mistborn trilogy, and he's hooked. And so I'm finally getting it myself. But like before he got into it just this last year or so, basically my only like way that I felt like I was contributing was I'd get random people, see the memes, and they would text me like, hey, I got into it because I saw your memes. And I'm like, thank you for letting me know, because I feel so inadequate with the people in my life at getting them hooked.
yeah, which is a cool like part of social media. It's just like getting people together that are just fans of this stuff. And we were joking before you're on, Gary. It's like, man, why do all of us seem to like Lord of the Rings, Sanderson, Legos, and like there's so many things that are connected. It's like, hey, me too, and that's just fun. So, are you a Lego guy, Gary?
My son is, and I was when I was a kid, but I don't
bring that
Lego.
into adulthood,
Cool
man.
now.
It
Life.
hits so hard.
Yeah, I gotta
It's true.
drop a couple stacks on some Legos.
Oh yeah.
That's the difficulty.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah. So what project most? Well, I guess we should start by saying what's already been announced, that they're making Mistborn movies, and Stormlight is going to be a TV show. It could be one of those two, but like, what's the most excited you guys are? Like, what adaptation are you waiting for?
I would say I'm most excited for Mistborn, but that's just because Mistborn has been my favorite series like my whole life. And while I don't feel the need to have an adaptation because I have a very active imagination, like when I read, I have a movie in my mind. So that's part of what makes me nervous about having adaptations, but I'm really excited for the opportunity for other people to see what I see, you know? So I don't know. I think it's gonna be fun. And after the World Hopper Ball, dude, like that just adds so much more to the anticipation and the magic.
Yeah. So for me, there's like two questions. There's like, what am I most excited for, and what do I think they should start with? And 100% they should start with Mistborn. I think it's gonna be the most like broad audience catching story that like it's the same with the books. Like we start with Stormlight and we're like, oh, it's a behemoth and would be hard for people to jump into. There's just so many questions. I think like Mistborn is just like the perfect story for someone new starting the story. And while there are other good entry points like Tress or Elantris, this one has the broad appeal of the high stakes. You're like fighting an immortal lord ruler. Like how are we gonna like take him down? So there's like just something about it that just really I think is gonna appeal to a mass audience and do well, hopefully. And then I probably have to say like I'm probably most excited for Mistborn as well. I love the theatrical experience. I love seeing films in theaters, and I'm really bummed that the Stormlight Archive, like I think it's better as a TV show. I'm bummed I won't be able to see it on a big screen though. As much I think that would be really cool if they did like a premiere or something on a big screen.
That sounds very Sanderson to say, hey, we've got the first 2 episodes showing in your local theaters. Come and go watch it. That'd be great. I love that.
Yeah,
Wow.
Yeah, I thought about that too, because I just keep thinking about, I mean, the only way they could have done movies with Stormlight is probably to cut massive storylines.
And I've talked with like so many people, there's not one, cutting massive storylines, or if you cut it into 2 movies, but there's no, like, you think about it, like there's no really good halfway mark for the Stormlight, like for book 1. The Way of Kings doesn't have a mid section that would make one good movie in the first half.
How do you guys think they're going to handle the interludes in the Stormlight series? Like, I've always wondered how that would be navigated, because it takes you away from the main storyline, and Brandon says that he likes to keep people on some form of climax, right? Like going towards something, and I feel like for first-time people that having the interludes would screw with the enjoyment of the series. You know what I mean? Do you know what I'm trying to say?
There won't be.
Yes.
I
Do
don't
you think they'll exclude interludes?
Yeah.
Do we think
think
they'll
for the
follow all
flow-
the characters?
What do you mean? Like all the main POVs?
Well, I mean, like, do you think they'll keep Lift and Dalinar and like I don't know. I have a hard time picturing how they're gonna navigate this, because there's so many details, so many POVs, and I'm like, how do you squish that all into a TV show?
Yeah, like they could have like one bonus episode in between seasons where you have like
Like a cap?
like one episode that has a bunch of stories in it, maybe, and it could be the interlude. But I imagine like that wouldn't be super marketable.
If I remember correctly, I'm big into the Alien, Blade Runner, Predator universe stuff. And before 2049 came out, there was about a 10 or 15 minute YouTube video linking Blade Runner 1, like Blade Runner, with the sequel, Blade Runner 2049. And I remember being really impressed with that. And I don't know if that would be a feasible interlude output for Apple TV to put on like 15 minutes of kind of this character or POV introduction on like YouTube, or as like some sort of teaser trailer for the next season or something. But there's so many interludes, like you can't do that realistically 5 or 6 times for one season. That's a good question.
That's what I've been thinking about. Anyways, sorry, derail.
No, that's right on. So yeah, no worries. If you guys have stuff you want to bring up, feel free. I think I would say I'm not the Sanderson expert. I'm still very new to it. So if there's anything you're like, oh, I wonder how they're going to do this. I don't know. I think I'm not a huge fan of these books, but Game of Thrones is that character POV. And I think they just, I don't know. I never really thought about that, but it works for Game of Thrones. They just kind of set up the scene. But yeah, I think there is something special about those interludes, especially, but then just even the character POVs. So Yeah, it'll be
Yeah.
interesting.
It could be like an opening, before the titles,
Mhm.
the title card, just like a little 5-minute clip of some interlude, and then move into the main story after that.
If they don't give us a breakdown of the metals in Mistborn with that whole sheet, I'm gonna riot. So.
They need to have like an end credit scene that just like pauses on a picture of all the metals and then what they
Yeah.
do. Just every time
Mhm.
because it's too much to keep track.
Yeah, it
At
really
least the
is.
first, you don't do all 16. So
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know what I'm more excited about, to be honest. I think The Way of Kings was my introduction, and I'm so excited for that. But then Mistborn is such a well done fantasy, and then to see out, like, I don't know. Is there any other projects that like I would love, like Tress of the Emerald Sea, and like I wonder if we're gonna get like, could we get like an anime of that, or just like something super unique? Is there anything that you guys are like maybe little outliers that you hope to see in this universe?
I've always been a huge Warbreaker fan. That was my first official, like I actually read the book myself, entry to the Cosmere. And I think it's just short enough and it's got really lovable characters. I don't know. That's the one that I would want to see adapted into just a one-off live action movie even. I would love to see that.
Mm. I've felt that way about Elantris as an anime. I think I read Stormlight 1 through 4, Mistborn eras 1 and 2, and then I read Elantris, and I was like, I should have done this a long time ago. What's happening? But for some reason, when I read that book, it was like a Attack on Titan kind of vibe anime the whole time, and that's just what I want. That's what my heart wants for that.
That could be cool. I'm glad to know that you're an Elantris lover. I feel like I get a lot of Elantris haters in my community, and it makes me so sad because I love that story. So
Yeah, it feels so solid in late 90s, early 2000s fantasy, and that's a very good genre in my opinion. So that's why I like it so much. It fits that aesthetic really well.
I agree. That's a really great idea.
I think Elantris could be a great book to adapt. I would love to see a Yumi and the Nightmare Painter.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
That
How did I
was,
forget that?
yeah, that was my favorite of the secret projects, and that would visually be stunning.
Mhm.
All the nightmares and the visions that they have. I think that would be really, really.
Even like the Heons. I love that like pinky blue
Mhm.
color vibe. I don't know why, but I love it.
Yeah, so having TVs in the Cosmere, things like that.
Yeah.
Watching dramas, telenovelas.
Yeah.
And then you get invested into that. It was so funny. I was like, well, I want to know what happens in this drama, but man, I didn't even think about that one. Yeah, I think I'm interested how much we'll get, because I mean, I imagine the success will build, but maybe we're just going to get Mistborn and Stormlight, but I really hope we get some of these other smaller stories too, and that'd be cool to have just different variations of how they're doing them.
We need to go support because Apple TV is not a huge streaming service yet. The movies will be theatrical, and I think that's actually really smart because they can go get a wide audience. People will go to the movie that don't have Apple TV, and they'll be like, "Oh, I like this," hopefully. And then when Stormlight comes out, like, "Oh, it's the same universe." Maybe I'll subscribe to Apple TV because the movie was good. And that's what I'm hoping happens. And I hope a lot of people, Apple TV doesn't need the money, but I hope everyone gives Apple TV the money for this so that we can get
Yeah.
the projects that you're talking about.
Yeah, I think
Yep.
I was thinking about
And
that too.
if it doesn't
Oh,
happen,
go ahead.
I was going to say, then Sanderson will create his own streaming service based off a Kickstarter, and it will become the most successful streaming service ever.
Out of the way, Netflix.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well,
What would he
actually, that's
call
what I was
it?
going to bring up. Oh, go ahead.
I was just asking, what do you think he would call his streaming service if he had one?
Probably Dragonsteel or something.
Oh, yeah. That actually reminds me. You guys have been, I had this question like 10 minutes ago. You both have been to Dragonsteel Nexus.
Mhm.
Twice? 3 times?
Twice.
Twice. Was there any inkling there that this type of project was at hand, close, when you were there or anything like that?
I don't think he like alluded us to the scope of what was happening. He did say conversations were happening, though. Am I correct, Gary?
Yeah, he's been saying it in live streams and in at Nexus and even like in the Halloween live stream, I believe.
Yeah.
He's been like saying stuff about adaptations for a while, and that he's been shopping these properties around, but always ending with like, there's nothing I can say at this time. And I think he learned his lesson from the last time that he started teasing things and then it fell through really poorly. So he was waiting, and they probably had a contract that they gave the rights to Hollywood Reporter to break the news, and Sanderson couldn't do it because Sanderson would have loved to have had another apology video breaking the news about
something super dramatic. And we've been discussing between some of the other creators within the Cosmere community about how awesome it is that Brandon Sanderson is so open with us, and he wants to keep us clued into these things. We all just know that it has probably been one of the hardest secrets to keep for so long from the fans, because he loves to just tell everyone everything.
Yeah, it's so exciting.
And I don't know that Apple's going to reciprocate that. So
we're
all
already
going to be sitting in the dark.
Because what were the two? There were two things that were like, oh, is this Apple that got in there? Because he was going to do a live
the live stream
talking about the movie, and then boom, it was cut off and canceled. We don't know why, but they said they were going to reschedule it eventually. So we're like, maybe it's Apple saying, well, we got to go over what you can talk about and what you can't. Who knows? And then the other part was on his website, he put up a progress bar that he was at 2% complete on the Mistborn script for the film, and then it's gone. And we're like, did they like lay the hammer down?
It's back now, though. It's back now. Yeah, they put it back this morning.
Is it more than 2%?
Let me check. Let's look.
We gotta know. And man, I love it when he does those things. I'm just like, okay, this book is there. Okay, great. Yeah.
I think one of my main questions I would ask him is what inspired the transparency, because I feel that he mixes transparency and secrecy so well. Like secrecy, a book is done, here you go, versus transparency, I'm at this % for a book that you're looking forward to. How does he balance that? And where do you think this comes from? Do you think like a reaction to his experience as a reader previously? Because can't think of any other author that is as transparent and diligent as Brandon Sanderson is.
I think it comes from like him learning the power of social media. He talked about how when he was an early author, he would be on Facebook and be on like, I think Twitter at the time, and he would go to signings with these really big, well-known authors who were bigger than him at the time, and he'd have a longer line for autographs for autographs than the bigger authors did, because he was with the times, he was on social media. So I think just very early on in his career, he's learned the power of like being interactive with his audience, and he's just kind of perfected that as he's gone along and realized like what we respond to and that we like a good surprise, and he's surprised us many times.
I think we need to credit Octavia and the publicity team in a little bit of this too, because there is a lot more behind the scenes going on there.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah,
when you said
who is
Octavia,
this person?
I immediately thought of Al Loon from Red Rising, but
yeah,
I'm
not that
with you now.
Octavia.
Like,
However,
no, we're not giving her anything.
This is Brandon's social media gal. She's usually the one behind Instagram and posting content. She's so sweet. She's a rock star. But yeah, from what I've gathered, they're a very collaborative team, and Brandon has lots of fun ideas. The team has tons of fun ideas. They're just a big, happy family doing fun, goofy things for the fans.
That's awesome.
And it's great.
Yeah, and he seems to actually care, too. I think a lot of authors are like, no, I'm crafting this book. Like, that's what they care about. But then, like, he seems to really enjoy the fan interaction. And, what's his quote about, like, when you can do something cool, kind of thing like that, just like his connection. And it's just, yeah, why not make this? Why not do something that's really cool like this? I was not expecting this announcement whatsoever. I thought we were going to get we're going to make this into a movie or this into a movie and see how it goes. Like, I was just, this huge thing, I was just like, I'm still kind of in shock, honestly, by it.
It could still be a see how it goes, but
Very true.
of all the people who are probably willing to eat the cost and let it ride for a while, I feel like it'd probably be Apple or Amazon. But those are kind of the two studios that have the most, like, as I said in my announcement for this whole deal, the FU money, where they can afford to lose billions of dollars on some adaptations and they'll still be okay. They just are that big of a company. So they'll probably invest in it a good while, but eventually if there's not a return, I'm sure they'll drop it. But yeah, couldn't be more thrilled about Apple having it, especially because they're just turning out such quality adaptations.
Yeah. And I think Apple does need something that keeps people on their service, because I feel like I use Apple of like, I'll subscribe, watch this show, and then back out. Like, they need their like Star Wars. There's something that's like, oh, I'll just keep it just so I can watch that whenever I want, and this could be that. I would totally just pay for having Mistborn on my phone or my TV or whatever, Yeah, and I'm excited. Also,
especially when there's.
Oh, go ahead.
I've interrupted you like 4 times.
Yeah, you have.
Please.
Shut up, Andrew. Just shut up for a while. No. What I was going to say, just to wrap up the streaming conversation, is that Greta Gerwig's Chronicles of Narnia, I think, is going to be really interesting to see, because it's getting an IMAX release. It's by Netflix, and then it's like, how long are they going to wait before it streams? And to see how that goes down, I think will be really interesting. But now you go, Andrew.
I was going to say, especially when there's 3 years, 2 or 3 years between the hit show of Severance, right? Like, if the time frame between seasons is so long, then they do need large properties that people stick around for.
Is there a scene that you guys are just so excited, or just like a section or a city or something that you're so excited to see, just visually?
Go, Gary.
I am really excited to see how they pull off the finale of Stormlight Archive and see if it can have the emotional weight that it did for me the first time I read it and all the subsequent times that I read it. For me, the pinnacle of that book is the moment when Kaladin is just on the ground and he is like cutting back with the flashback of him losing Tien and holding Tien's body, and then being like, I will protect those who cannot protect themselves. And then he goes jumps off the bridge into a bunch of enemy soldiers and sucks the light from their beards. That moment is just like one that I'll never forget. There are other moments later on, but I'm sure that'll be years down the line, like even more so. So that's probably the soonest moment that I'm just like, I hope they nail it. I hope it transitions to the heart and the pain that like I felt when I read the book.
So good. Oh, so many good ones. But I think I'm looking forward to Hoyd's story times, because they're all so visually stunning, but they're also so meaningful. And I just can't wait to see Hoyd be super magical and Hoydy with these stories that have just changed all of our lives. So I'm excited.
That is a character I'm really looking forward to. I think, given how much character is put into the mist of Mistborn, I'm excited to see how they represent that visually without doing like a Moana thing where like the water shows like a shadow of a person or something like that, or like the water like is like a tail. Like, I don't want a wisp of mist to like curl up like a hand and talk to Vin or whatever.
Yeah.
But I'm curious how they will show early clues that the mist is more than just mist, and mist wraiths. I want to see that crap so bad.
Yeah.
I want to know what that looks like.
Man, there's like individual scenes that I just can't wait to see. Just like, I mean, Kaladin jumping into the arena is like, I want to be with people who are invested in the show and like experience that again for the first time, you know? I think I'm interested to see how they'll handle the movement, the Allomancy in Mistborn. But I think the spren, I'm really interested to see with a TV show, like how they're doing that. Are we going to see, is our spren going to be in every single shot, you know, or is it just going to be like a climax of when, you know, those things are happening? Like, but I don't know.
It would be distracting. Like if
Yeah.
you had as many spren on the screen as there are in the books, visually it would get distracting. In the books, Sanderson can call attention to the ones. But every emotion that somebody has, every feeling, every pain, every like fire, wind, like just having a spren at all times for everything that's available would just be really overwhelming. So, and Brandon has said that it'd be really cost prohibitive to do too much. So I'm sure they'll scale it back a little bit.
That's
So-
one reason why I want Stormlight to be animated, though, because I feel like it would be so much easier to incorporate the spren in a way that it doesn't like look weird. Like I've always pictured the animation style of Avatar: The Last Airbender for Stormlight myself, and how expressive they are and all of their different like movements of the elements. And I just feel like that animation style is perfect for spren.
Yeah, that would look so cool. Yeah, it's almost like I hope we get a couple different versions of this, you know, and it's like, I don't know, maybe we will. Like, oh, here's the animated version, or here's the different things. But, yeah. What do you guys see kind of talking these challenges? Like, what do you see? You okay, Andrew?
Andrew's dying.
I'm dying.
No, don't die. We got to finish the episode.
Yeah, you can go after that, Andrew. Just stick
Yeah.
around for another 30 minutes, and then you're fine.
What a
I'll
great way
take
to.
end reel off the wall behind me once we're done.
And I would have followed you, my brother, my captain, my king, and then I'll take your griefs.
Oh, my king.
Oh
wow.
What do you guys see as some of the challenges? I feel like budgetary is definitely one, like spren. What are some other things that you're like, how are they going to do this? Like,
Go, Gary.
I saw you open your mouth. Go, Mo.
Okay, fine. I'm curious to see how they're going to handle emotional allomancy, because how do you show someone being rioted, or how do you show someone being soothed beyond their own level of their emotional control? Like, how do you display that visually? That's one thing that kind of raised the flag, and I'm really interested to see where they go with that.
I think that'll be interesting because like the people, if the soothing is well done, people don't even know they're being soothed. And so even people observing wouldn't be able to tell if you're being soothed. So you'd probably need to have a frame on the person doing the soothing and the person being soothed, and like cutting back and forth and having a good actor showing that they're calming down. I was actually going to say, I've always thought it would be interesting visually doing the push and pull metals, because at some point there's just so many metals, and so like visually, will it not be just chaotic and wild if every coin in the room has a blue line going to it on the screen, and it's only visible to the person who's like ingesting the metal? So are we going to be like in their POV and we'll see the metals, and then we watch the action and we see nothing? Like, I'm just interested, because part of the cool part about the mechanic is you hear the things like, and then he pushed off the nail in the wall over there, and then he pushed off like the handle on the like the skyscraper or whatever, and pulled himself towards it. And so understanding the mechanics was a really interesting part of the book. Whereas if you eliminate the blue lines and just see them bouncing around, it might get just chaotic and be like, wait, what did they pull off of? Where did they go? I'm just curious to see how they decide to go forward with that.
I feel like it's almost like Spider-Man's webs. You only need to see him actually shoot a web at a building up here once or twice. And then for the rest of the movie, every time he swings, you're like, yeah, it's on a building. So I wonder if they'll go that route of, like you said, show in their eyes the POV, and then you kind of assume. But yeah, with so many medals, you can only assume so much. Like, how did they make that move? The books are very detailed. Are we going to get inner dialogue? Probably not, because that's pretty clunky. That'll be interesting, yeah.
Yeah, I never thought about they'll have to limit what we're seeing sometimes, but then I don't know. I trust, like, the fact that Brandon Sanderson has so much control. I'm just so excited about, because I feel like I really do trust him with these, and just I think he's going to. I don't know, just him talking about how much he's studied screenplay too, and just like that process and how do you make this into a movie. And I think he really cares about that. He doesn't seem to be someone. I'd love to hear you guys' response to this, but like he doesn't seem like someone who's like, I just want this made into a movie. He's like, oh, I want to make this.
I do find that encouraging because we have people who are authors that do screen adaptations, and just because you're good at a book writing novels doesn't mean that you're good at writing screen adaptations. And I think one of the famous examples is with J.K. Rowling with writing the Fantastic Beasts. Like, clearly there's a quality level between the Harry Potter books and then the Fantastic Beast scripts. And so that is a concern with Brandon writing the script. He's written a couple of scripts before for Mistborn, and he has, the way he talks about it, he's studied it, he's practiced with Wheel of Time a little bit, and on top of that, he has said that, like, acknowledged that exact thing about just because you're good at A doesn't mean you're good at B. And I think I'd have to find the clip, but he talked about how, like, Michael Jordan was one of those people that was able to go do baseball and do really well at it. He's like, and I don't want me to compare myself to Michael Jordan, but he's like, just because I'm good at writing these novels doesn't mean that I'll be great at doing a movie screenplay. So he would probably want to go look and hire some of the best movie screenplays to work with him. And he didn't say that's what he's doing, but I'm hoping that's what he's doing. I'm hoping he's writing the screenplay and then he's bringing on the best to help him make it even better.
And one thing sorry.
I was just going to say, do you know if he was involved with the Wheel of Time TV show at all?
Very, very minimally. He's expressed that they didn't really care to listen to what he had to say. So he cringed a lot through watching that series, as did I. So
yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
It was a perfect
Gave them-
adaptation. What are you talking about?
What do you mean? No, I haven't
Just like
even
the
read
Halo
all
TV
of the
show.
books, and I was like dying. I've read the first 6 because my husband and my dad and my brother, they've all read it multiple times, the whole series, and I was like, I gotta get in on this. And I couldn't do it. I was like, you've got to be freaking kidding me! Right off the bat, first episode, I was like, I gotta give it a chance. I couldn't give it a chance.
Are you implying it changes someone's character arc when they weren't married, and then we see him kill his wife on the TV show?
Dude, that pissed me off so bad. I was like, why
doesn't
would you do
change it?
that? Anyways, I am not upset about it at all.
Yeah, it was bad.
Anyway, so what I was about to say, though,
Yeah.
was I appreciate that Brandon Sanderson has been setting really great expectations really early on about books and movies being completely different forms, and you have to change things to adapt to films. And so he's been keeping the audience aware of, hey, things are going to be different, but I'm going to do something really, really great with it. So I love that he's telling people up front, it's not going to be one-to-one. It's not going to be a play-by-play, but it's going to be great. And trust me, I got you. So I think that's really important. I think setting expectations is a big deal, and he's been on top of that.
He seems like someone, too, that would take notes well. If someone is like, hey, this works in the book, this doesn't work in a movie, I think he seems to be someone that would take that note. I think there's a lot of people who would not. And yeah, I think that is really encouraging to me. Like, he just seems like he has like a humility to him, that he wants the story. I don't know. And like, you brought up Wheel of Time, and what I love is the fact that like Robert Jordan was like, I need someone to finish this for me. And that was who he wanted, because he was like, this is the guy. And, Brandon Sanderson made the end of that story. He didn't make it his. He didn't put it in the Cosmere. He's just like, I'm going to finish this story. And that was a hard day for me. So I was going through the Wheel of Time, and when I read, I can't remember if it's book 12 or whichever one starts Brandon Sanderson, but he has the opening letter. It's like, I'm sorry if I have to be the one to tell you that Robert Jordan has passed away. And I was fully like, that was me. Didn't like reading an old series. I didn't know he had died. And then it was heartbreaking. I was so in it, but
Sad.
yeah, it was tough. But then he finished it so well, and it feels like the Wheel of Time. It doesn't feel like, the only thing I compare it to is when you're watching a movie and like, oh, this is a totally different director, something like that. It felt like Robert Jordan in the best way. I think they're probably some of my favorite Wheel of Time books. I think Sanderson is such a good writer that series just ends so well. So Andrew, you got a fun little question about music. Why don't you dip your toes in that?
Yeah. So a lot of us in the Cosmere fandom for years, especially recently I've been seeing on Mo's Instagram, like to fan cast different characters. And I want to shift gears a little bit and say, who would be your fan cast for a composer? We can just stick with Mistborn movie. We finally get to go to the theaters. Who is someone that you're jazzed out of your mind that they're bringing music into this world that you love so much?
Ooh, that's a hard question, and I didn't get to think beforehand, but I think Zimmer might be in the top of my list.
Yeah.
Yeah, the two most famous composers. I love either of them, although I think John Williams is probably. Who knows? He's still around. He's been around for a long time. But if Hans Zimmer even did one movie, if John Williams did one movie, I would die. If Zimmer did a movie, I would be over the moon. Both of those composers are incredible.
Yeah, recently Hans Zimmer was announced connected to the HBO Harry Potter series, and that seems very interesting to me. A incredibly well-known composer approaching a property that already has music that's so deeply ingrained.
Well, he's already done that.
What is he going to do there?
He did the same thing because Williams did Superman, and then Hans Zimmer did Superman.
Oh, yeah.
And then
you're right.
Williams did Harry Potter. Now Zimmer's doing Harry Potter. So
whoa,
cool.
It's John Williams is Tolkien, and Robert Jordan is Hans Zimmer. Bear McCreary is Brandon Sanderson, which is my answer. If I could get Bear McCreary to do like the episodes or a movie or two, his work on the Rings of Power TV show just light my heart on fire. It's just so good. I love it.
That's a
Heath,
good one.
you got anybody? What do you think, Music Man? Guitar on the wall guy?
No, that's just for show. I take it. It's a cardboard.
I don't play.
I don't know. It's tough because I feel like Mistborn, my go-to thought is I want to have some of my favorite composers do it, but Mistborn, it's like, it feels a bit dark to me. Like, I feel like I couldn't do like a John Williams, even if that was my choice, because it feels like it's a bit sad. I think you're right. Like a Hans Zimmer has a bit more of that. I feel like I'm saying it for everything, but I would say Bear McCreary too. I just think he is so in touch with that fantasy stuff, and his stuff can feel, because Mistborn can't be dour, but it's so heavy. I mean, like the world's already ended, so it's not like we're da 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 da. But yeah, I think Bear McCreary would be mine too.
It's Bear McCreary, correct me if I'm wrong, also did The Last Voyage of the Demeter. Is that what that movie was called?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like a Dracula movie, smoky waters, like in a boat at nighttime. So he could do the vibe.
Yeah.
My other dark horse one that I would like, and it's really like kind of, they're not like a classical composer, would probably be Daniel Pemberton. So he's done movies like King Arthur, Legend of the Sword. It was a flop, but I love the soundtrack.
Cool.
That movie. He also did the Spider-Verse movies.
That was good.
That Arthur
legendary
movie, the music is such a vibe. I mean,
Mhm.
yeah, just so interesting. I just remember the trailer has that old like English lullaby done to this like industrial kind of metal. And it's just
Mhm.
like that beat, and wow, it is powerful. Yeah, I'm excited. I think that would really set the tone. I mean, they've got to be talking to people. I mean, there's so many people I think that would do it well. Who's the guy who just did Oppenheimer and did The Mandalorian? Yeah.
Goranson.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. He'd be another good one.
Yeah. Well, I forget his full name. He's very good.
Shifting just slightly from composer to director, I did get to do a signing a year or two ago with Brandon, and I got to ask him a question. I forgot my phone, so I didn't get to record it. But I asked him, we know that one of the things that's important to him is control and the write-offs and the approvals. And I asked Brandon, who is the director that you would give full control to do a Mistborn adaptation? And he gave me 3. He said Christopher Nolan, Spielberg, and James Cameron. If any of those 3 happen to hear this clip, you can have full control of Mistborn, according to Brandon in a that he told me 2 years ago. So,
Wow.
So this is gospel truth. I'm into this. I like this.
Yeah, I haven't even thought
Whoa.
about director, to be honest.
here's the thing. Nolan, Cameron, and Spielberg all would do an incredible Mistborn movie, and they'd all be so different.
Yeah.
Yeah. Man, there's that I can't think of the title now, but that Spielberg movie that's coming out later this summer. That's like feels like a classic UFO mystery thriller movie.
Disclosure
I'm
something,
so looking
right?
forward to that. And yeah, Disclosure Day.
Yeah.
And that, like you said, Spielberg. You said that he said Spielberg, and I could feel like the inner child in me, just come to life. That'd be so fun.
Yeah.
But Christopher Nolan would make me cry. Christopher Nolan would make me weep.
And that
Are
would be
we all
crazy.
criers here? Do you guys cry in the movie theater? Because I cry in the movie theater. Okay, we can go to a movie
Mhm.
together, Andrew, and then I won't feel so alone.
Oh, I cried in the last
Dude.
movie we watched together.
That's true. We went and saw Thunderbolts, right? Was that
Mm.
the last one we went and saw?
Oh,
Yeah, I cried.
that's
in
a great one.
for sure.
That was a breath of fresh air for the Marvel
It
universe,
was.
if I can say that word.
Was
Marvel
much
universe.
needed.
Yeah. Well, that's all I really have for notes. Oh, actually, I added a fun question. I'm a big fan of the Critical Drinker, and he just released a video about the Night of the Seven Kingdoms. But I was wondering what you guys think about the idea of fantasy. Seems to be like the Game of Thrones thing is such the nihilistic, dark, serious, everyone's gray. And I think Brandon Sanderson kind of plays in the gray, but there are heroes in that. How do you think, like, is this the right time for Brandon Sanderson's work? Like in the regard of like heroes versus anti-heroes.
I'm not sure I fully understand the question.
I think like the contrast you're saying between the superhero movie where this, like from last summer, this Superman movie is just straight up a good guy trying to do good stuff versus a Superman that lives in some sort of gray area of like, I'm going to do what's good for my people or my family.
Yeah.
And Game of Thrones kind of like normalized that, like, hey, these are the main characters, but they all do bad things regularly and they all are selfish. And we kind of lived in that space for a long time. So it feels that the trend is coming out of like, we're getting stories of a hero being a genuine hero rather than a complicated guy who has the mantle of hero but still does bad stuff. Is that accurate?
Yeah, I guess so. And I maybe that's a crazy question. I shouldn't have asked it, but I don't know. I feel like Sanderson has such real people, and I think I'm kind of been burned on the anti-hero trope. Like, I love Deadpool, but we don't need every movie to be Deadpool. And like, yeah, I guess let me just sum it down to like, do you guys think this is the right time? Obviously, we've wanted Sanderson's work made for so long, but is this the right time for his work to be made?
I would have taken it 10 years ago if I could have. I don't know about timing. It's the time that we're getting it, and so I'm excited for that. I think it's hopeful, and I think hope's always a good message for people to have, and to have that idea that like things get better, and also to see like there are heroes in Game of Thrones, not very many, but there are a few that are like your good people, your Jon Snows and whatnot. And there's gonna be bad characters in Stormlight, right? But it just doesn't. We don't dwell on those as much. We try to focus on the rather than focusing so much about the villains, where all of the villains in Stormlight are like 2-dimensional. Or 3-dimensional. The only non 3-dimensional villain in the Cosmere that I can think of is like Strath Venture. Like, he's just straight up evil, right? But everyone else, you can kind of get their motivations. But even then, like they're not totally unrelatable. And I think sorry, my brain is still like wrapping itself around this idea, but I think ultimately there's a lot more good. There's still bad and evil characters, but I think Brandon doesn't focus so much on the villains. Like, they're less so the villains than the characters' inner conflict and them coming to terms with their own mental health and their own challenges. And it's the character versus themselves versus character versus big bad villain, which I don't think is as big of a trend in like the Game of Thrones series. It's more about main character against external threat.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I guess I'm trying to wrap my head around that idea too. I should have prepared my question better, but I like the fact we're leaving the era of like the Emperor from Star Wars, where he's just mustache twirly villain. And then Sanderson seems to have a grasp of there is still villains, there is still heroes, but you're right, he explains those villains that we can get on, we can see where they're coming from at least. Yeah, I think this is such a key time, and yeah, for more hope, I guess I'm excited for that.
That, I think, as far as your question of is now the right time, I would say, like, yeah, 10 years ago it would have been good, but now is even better because there's so much, has been such a big push for emotional intelligence and the effect of your mental health on your whole being, your whole person. And like you guys have said, that ultimately is the struggle and strife of any of the main characters in Stormlight, right? There is an objective, there is a goal to accomplish, there's a guy to defeat, a battle to win, and then after that, there's the real hurdle, there's the real thing to get over or to get around or to navigate with that you have to carry with you. And I think more people know that about themselves now than ever have before. And so now is the time, I think, where more people will connect with that message of hope, of I will be warm again, and all of those really meaningful things. So would have taken it, still am going to take it, but I think the increase in emotional intelligence kind of makes people who are unfamiliar with the property a little bit more open to it, or maybe connecting with it more.
Yeah, and let's push it. Let's get everyone watching. I'm so excited to push that.
I think we pretty much covered everything under the sun, and it's been so much fun.
Yeah, good. Well, yeah, thank you guys so much for being on. This is so fun meeting you, Mo, and Gary, having you back on. I didn't realize, Gary, that we didn't have you on at all in 2025. I'm like, dude, it's been a year since you've been on. I'm like, that is crazy. And I know you guys know a lot of people in the community, and I would love when these start coming out to have a after show podcast where we're just like dissecting the movie. Oh, we just watched the show. Now we're going to talk about it. That'd be so fun to get a group together to do that. So
That'd be sick.
Yeah. Could you guys just kind of push your platforms, kind of like where people can find you and where people can, I don't know, just connect with you?
Yeah. You can find me at Cosmere Junkie on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. I'm mostly post just on Instagram, but occasionally I'll post on the others, also on Threads. And that sums me up.
Yeah, exact same as Gary, except my handle is Cosmere_Mo.
Perfect.
Great.
Andrew, where can people find you?
Apparently lurking. Beginning of the episode. I don't lurk. I don't.
Sure.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching. Thanks for listening. As always, our full video show is on Spotify and on YouTube. You can catch it there and follow along with us. Your feature presentation on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube. As always, Heath, Mo, Gary, go see a movie.
Go see a movie. Do you guys want to say it too?
Oh, sure. Go see a movie.
Go see a movie in theaters.
Today.
Today. I like that.